I think the whole rhetoric surrounding Kehlani is super, super interesting. I'm here for it because I feel like Black people are obsessed with the one drop rule. And if you don't believe me, just look at our celebrities. Like all of them, all of the ones that are super, super popular are very racially ambiguous, especially for women. And so it's like, what does that mean? Why do we have so many celebrities who look racially ambiguous or who are mixed with like over half white? Like, why are we obsessed with highlighting people who don't look like the majority of us, you know?
You see a lot of Black Americans talking about how, as far as they're concerned, everybody that isn't white is Black. They don't seem to realise that they're actually hurting their own culture, their own race.
Let go of the one drop rule. Oh, Tiffany.
So I want people who champion the one drop rule to explain. We need to talk about the one drop rule. According to my AI overview, the one drop rule was a historical US social and legal principle dictating that any person with even one ancestor of Black African ancestry, one drop of Black blood, is considered Black. Rooted in the era of slavery, this concept enforced racial hierarchies. Note that it enforced, here was its impact, its purpose. It was to enforce racial hierarchies. It was to preserve white privilege, and it was to expand the enslaved population. That is the point of the rule. That is what it is meant to accomplish, right? The rule emerged from the institution of slavery and was used to categorize the mixed-race children of white enslavers and enslaved Black women. Because of this categorization, these children were legally considered the enslaver's property. After slavery was abolished, the logic was codified into 20th century state laws, particularly across the American South, and was used in anti-miscegenation statutes to strictly control marriage and social segregation. We are now going to talk about its societal impact. Because the United States enforced this rigid binary, individuals of mixed race heritage, unlike in regions that recognize separate multiracial or mixed race classes, such as the color classification in South Africa, were legally and socially absorbed entirely into the Black population. Right? I also want you to note this part. Such as the color classification in South Africa.
Here only live Khalid and Black people, no?
No Black people, only Khalid.
Only Khalid.
Only Khalid.
Khalid means mixed, white and Black mixed, right?
Yes.
White, black,
Indian,
everything. Indian as well.
Everything. Chinese.
Its modern relevance. While former laws enforcing the one drop rule have been overturned, its legacy continues to shape racial identity and multiracialism in the United States today. It remains a prominent topic in discussions surrounding multiracial individuals, with sociological research showing that the rule's social stigma frequently influences how biracial Americans self-identify. It's social stigma. Where do you think the social stigma, who do you think is imposing that social stigma?
Everybody was so mad at Tyler because Tyler was like, I'm not Black. And Tyler is not Black. She is colored, which is what they call mixed people in her culture. And I just feel like Black people as a whole got to let the one drop rule die. Just because you have Blackness in you does not make you Black. That doesn't negate your Blackness either, but it totally negates the rest of you. And I don't think that that's a fair thing to do or a fair point to make.
The one drop rule is not a rule that is being upheld. The one drop rule is not a rule that is being upheld by white people. It is a rule that is being upheld by Black people. It is a rule that you wish to see exist. It is a rule that you wish to see continue. Despite knowing that its purpose was to enforce racial hierarchies, preserve white privilege, and expand the enslaved population. Here is how people justify this rule. Now, we talked about this part and I want to read it again. It remains a prominent topic in discussions surrounding multiracial individuals, with sociological research showing that the rule's social stigma frequently influences how biracial Americans self-identified. And a lot of people do this by telling mixed people that they have colonizer blood, which makes no sense because a Black person would have had to bang a colonizer. A Black person would have had to either unzip the pants and come in a colonizer, or a Black person would have had to split their legs in half. They would have had to open up some legs there. In order for a mixed child to exist, two people of different races have to come together. Those individuals, that person, mind you, a fully Black person probably suffers the most from racism. That person thought of that white person, that Black person thought highly enough of that white person to have unprotected sex with them and have a child. So why would you be against a child having that individual's blood?
We are a compilation of two different races of people that were told that they could not commingle or coexist. We are mixed. We are not either or. We are the embodiment of both, and that was the purpose. We are not a split between races. We are the fusion. a living testament that wholeness can be born out of division. We are bridge energy, proof that opposites can merge into something entirely new, an alchemical creation. We are both, and when we embrace that, we are whole. So don't let anybody tell you that you are too much or too little. You are just enough to change the world around you.
But all of you do this to mix people, to make them feel guilty for not wanting to identify with you because you are all self-hating sloths. Another thing people say is mixed is not a race. Mixed is not a race because you will not allow it to be. If it was, would you allow it? If it was a race, if right now somebody signs a petition and mixed people were able to be characterized as such, would you be okay with it?
I do not consider myself a black woman. Absolutely not.
I don't know, y'all. Mixed is not a real culture. So I think people want you to pick because there's a white culture, there's a black culture. And then there's people who are multicultural or multi-raced. And typically they gravitate to a certain culture out of the family. Out of the sides. Is there a world where mixed people have a style, a culture, a thing or two? Maybe there is. But, I've heard people say the mixed girls, they got their thing. They have their sounds and their trends and stuff, so it is what it is. I don't blame this girl for saying she don't think she black. It's a whole ton of people who black and don't even need their black card. But anyway, she wants to acknowledge both of her races, y'all. I think about your mom, your dad, your cousins. You love those people. You identify with those people. So imagine if you had a black mom and a white dad, or whatever, a black parent and a white parent, and you love them both and you identify with them, and you identify with both of them. You're going to want to stand 10 toes down for both parents and both sides. Like, you can't blame her for wanting to rep both of her families. I don't even want to say that like it's separate, but some girls, like that other girl on College Hill, said she didn't really know her dad like that, and she acts white. She got black in her, but look at Claudia Jordan. She got black, but she don't know her daddy, so she acts so white. So it's like, it is what it is, y'all. I think we're all just used to a person picking a side and being easily identified for who they are.
Because there are a lot of mixed people online, a lot of mixed people fighting for the right to identify themselves as what they are, fighting a bunch of overgrown losers.
I am not black. I am not black. I'm a person of color or multiracial, not black. Please respect that.
A bunch of mixed people are online fighting all of you, begging you to leave them alone to identify as what you are, as what they are. A lot of them are fighting you on the internet, and you're telling them that mixed is not a race. Despite the fact that there are plenty of mixed people on the internet informing others that it is.
We need our own community because, like I keep saying, we've been forced amongst these people. We've been forced to be amongst these people. We weren't meant to, you know what I'm saying? And you see how it didn't work out, right? People are trying too hard to fit in. People are, you know what I'm saying? This is not right. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody who want to, all these minstrel mulattoes. Black people are telling you that you're not black, bro. You see what I'm saying? So stop trying. There's people saying you need your own community. So that's what I'm saying. We need to find our own community and fit in.
But none of you want to hear that because you don't want to be honest about the fact that you are enforcing the one-drop rule. Black and mixed people are the ones who enforce it. Another thing that people say is that they will always be seen as black or Asian or Latinx or Middle Easterners by colonizers, right? Their whole point is that this individual will never be seen as white. Why does somebody have to be seen as white? Why is it black and white? Why is there no middle ground? Their point is that they will never be seen as white. So what? What if they're being seen as brown? Because brown exists. There are lots of mixed people who claim that they're mistaken for, I
have been mistaken with almost every single ethnicity besides being black and white. Now, people who are mixed and black women clock it all the time, but everyone else, half the time they have no idea. So no, my lived experiences are not the same as a black woman. I think that's very disrespectful to compare my lived experience looking like myself to a black woman. So therefore, I will always identify as being black and white. I am mixed. There is a difference.
They are mistaken for Persians. They are mistaken for Mexicans. And you can come here and say, oh, Mexican is not a race. Doesn't matter. The white people whose view of race you are dependent on, the white people whose view of race you enforce within your own community, they see them as Mexican. So then they are Mexican. So do not explain that to me. Do not sit here and say, well, but Mexican is not a race. If it is to a white person, then it should be to you, right? Do not go and say white people are stupid. They think Mexican is a race. Since they determine race, if they say Mexican is a race, it's a goddamn race. There are mixed people who are mistaken for Arabs and all sort of other races, but you do not take that into account. You then go under those comment sections and say stuff like, but I see the black in them. No, remember, by your own rule, you do not determine race. So move aside, peasant. Move aside, mentally enslaved girlie. Move aside. Let white people decide that, right? That's the rule. They can be seen as brown. All of you act like there's black and white, but there is a middle point, love. There are so many racial categories. And white people travel. All of you make it seem like the white people in America are just they're all Anglo-Saxons. No, there are white people from all over. There are white Latinos, white Brazilians who move there. There are white people who migrate from South Africa to America. And they bring their thoughts and they bring their history with them. How they view others, they bring with them.
The Spanish brought with them a caste system where every racial mix had a label. Mestizo was one of those labels used for people with both indigenous and Spanish ancestry. But it wasn't just about identity. It was about control. The idea of a mestizo wasn't created to celebrate mixing. It was used to move people away from their indigenous roots and closer to Spanish ideals. Over time, this label became more than just a category. It became the foundation for what it meant to be Mexican. National leaders in the 20th century even pushed mestizaje, the idea of a unified mixed race, to build a modern Mexican identity. But this erased countless indigenous languages, histories, and cultures. Today, millions of Mexican Americans don't know the full story behind the word mestizo.
The white people from England and the white people from Germany who migrate to the US. Does how they see them matter? Because if that is the case, they were raised in countries where the one-drop rule was not enforced. Why would they drop down in America and suddenly start enforcing it? A lot of white Americans are mixed. All of you like saying everyone is mixed. So it's other white group here, part Anglo-Saxon, part Irish. Like that exists. Why do you then think all white people in America see race the same? Why do you think they do not conversate? The countless white people you have children with, you don't think they eventually talk to other white people and things change? Mixed people have been on TV for years and they still just see them that one way. Stop.
I know they take up a lot of airtime, like, TV, movies, the ambiguous blacks, but
This is going to be long-winded, but I have a point. Have you ever read the book or seen the TV soap opera Escrava Isaura? Because most of you are Anglophone, you potentially haven't seen it. It's an 1865 novel by a guy called Bernardo de Guimarães, an abolitionist from Brazil, that was adapted to TV with gigantic amounts of success in 1976 by Globo, one of the major TV channels in Brazil and one of the biggest producers of soap opera. The impact that soap opera had is something spectacular. This soap opera was the most dubbed soap opera in the world. I think it still holds that title, according to Good Morning America. It was the first soap opera to be broadcast in China, in the Soviet Union, in Hungary, in Algeria, in Turkey, in all of the Portuguese-speaking countries, in South America, even in the UK, where it was called Isaura the Slave Girl. It was a raging success around the world. And what was the story of slave Isaura? It was the story of a girl that was caught in the one-drop rule. This girl was born a slave, but she looked white. And the soap opera followed the vicissitudes of her life, being caught in this unfair situation between two worlds. In 1865, as in 1976, she became this symbol of the unfairness of slavery. She was the rallying point around which all of the heroes of the story rallied. And she was played by a white actress, of course. Something that still today, the TV channel receives criticism for. So what's my point regarding this? Overrepresentation in the media of light-skinned black people and of mixed-race people who can pass and their troubles is a product of the fact that we live in a white supremacist world and that coddle white audiences to be able to empathize only with the things that they identify with, and the slave Isaura is an easy anecdote of that. There has been a preponderance of representations of light-skinned black people, of tragic mulattoes, in books, in films, in media in general, in soap operas, because they were the way with which white authors were able to project the humanity of black people in a way that white people were able to consume without having to touch the problems that black people went through on a day-to-day basis. For more than a century, in film, in media, in painting, in literature, these people, and I'm including myself in that group, and their troubles were consistently represented on screen because that's the people who had power, specifically in Western countries, who were in their vast majority white and male, decided should have a focus on. So it's no wonder that dark-skinned black people are a bit fatigued. This is just about representation. We're not even counting colorism, which is so prevalent in Portugal, so prevalent in Brazil, so prevalent in Angola still. It's prevalent in other communities as well. You just have to go to India and to look up Fair and Lovely commercials. But I'm focusing specifically on the black communities. I'm from a mixed race family that has been mixed for generations now, and I've seen firsthand the harms that colorism can do. Being a light-skinned black person doesn't stop you from being black or from being judged as black, but it comes with a ton of privileges that light-skinned black people sometimes don't understand how to acknowledge, specifically if they grow up outside of a black community. But just because sometimes this entitled attitude comes out from some of us who are light-skinned black people, as we were raised in an environment that valued proximity to whiteness potentially as a self-defense and survival mechanism, doesn't mean that we can't learn to take a step back to understand.
They also say, well, they look fully black. They do not. A lot of you would say that, what is that guy? The basketball player, Wambi. I'm not sure. I hope I'm not pronouncing his name wrong. All of you will sit there and say, well, he looks black like his dad. No, he does not. Well, he looks like a light-skinned black person, but he isn't a light-skinned black person. He does not look like his father. He does not look like his mother. What would that make him? Doesn't look like his mother or his father. That would make him a perfect mix of both. Why does mix go black? Why can't mix go white? Why can mix remain mixed? Why must it go black? There's no such thing. He does not look fully black. You think not looking white equates to fully black.
I don't know if y'all be on Twitter, but if you are, did you see the gamer community? A girl tried to hold a black woman only like a Call of Duty tournament, and then this girl got mad she couldn't be in it, saying, oh, I'm mixed, I can't be in it. Turns out the whole time she wasn't even like mixed with black. Turns out she like Indo-Caribbean. And this is why I've been saying for a while, I think having way too many mixed women representing black women in media has confused a lot of people. Even black people, because I saw black people, specifically black men, defending her right to be a part of this. But I think we need to end the one-drop rule. Just because you got a little black in you does not mean that you experience the same things I experience as a monoracial black woman. You get to choose how you are perceived. I'm black everywhere I go. Yeah, no hate to the biracials. Just saying.
No, they don't look fully black. You are just erasing half of their identity. You do not care that they do not look fully black. You just want to claim them. Everyone is mixed. Yes, everyone is mixed. The same way there are 100% Irish people. Yes, they exist. There are also white people who are part German and part Irish, and that is considered mixed. When people say everyone is mixed, they don't mean everyone is part Asian, everyone is part Asian, everyone is part white. No, tribally mixed people are considered mixed as well. Yes, when people say everyone is mixed, they also consider that individual. Somebody can just be tribally mixed and not racially mixed. That person is considered mixed. When your two parents who have different genes come together and they make you are mixed because you're not what your mother is, you're not what your father is. So that statement applies to that situation as well. But you just apply it to everybody's just racially mixed. Well, technically, yes, because if you consider the white race one race, sure, but if you consider Germans and Anglo-Saxons to be different people, then yes, somebody can be part German, part Anglo-Saxon, and they are mixed. People also like to say race is a social construct. Oh, okay, good. Race is a social construct. That still does not explain why you then default everyone to black. Does it? If race is a social construct, then let's all be mixed. We're all mixed. Race is a social construct. It's not real. Let's all be mixed. Let's all use the one term that just explains everything about all of us. Let's all just be mixed. It's a bad word. Well, we took back the N-word. Why not mixed?
Guys, mixed race people are not black is a take that I very much agree with. I don't know why like people like just have such lower self-esteem that whenever they see a person that has a little bit of black, they're saying that they're black. They're not. Like if you are 50% Caucasian or 50% Asian or 50% Indian, whatever, like you're not black, you're mixed, and that's a category that exists and there's nothing wrong with that. Like stop trying to pretend like people who are light skinned and clearly have a different phenotype to us just in terms of hair texture and everything like that, eyes, nose, are like the same as us. Like they're not. It's like the same thing like when people say like Somalis are black. Like Somalis are Afro-Asiatic, they're not black. Stop trying to beg other people to be part of your group. Like I hate it when people try and beg Somali people saying like, oh bro, you're black, you're one of us, like no, you're not Somali. Like stop trying to tell people what they should be, especially when they don't have or their genetics do not align with what is quintessentially or known as black. So it's just like, bro, stop it, have some pride, have some standards. That's what we need in the black community. We need standards. Like if you're not like 80% black, you're not black. In fact, now I'll say 75% to 70%. If you're lower than 70%, you're not black.
They also say identifying as white is them picking a side, and there are very dangerous people who actually do think this way, who feel like biracial people should identify as black in order to show that they stand with their movement. That is so cruel. The number of mixed people who are afraid to be honest about feeling in between, about accepting that they are a mixture of certain things. They cannot accept that out loud without feeling guilty. They cannot say it out loud without feeling guilty because of people like you. You call them colonizers. and tell them that them being honest about who and what they are is them picking a side. No, the black parent who went and banged a white person is the one who picked a side. And even then, that is just an individual deciding who they want to be with and having a multiracial child. And to each their own, but that is a multiracial child. You want to know they picked a side? What? Stop it. A lot of you are out here acting like people saying it's black is so life-saving to all of you. Like it literally deters racism. Stop it. This daydream of a multicultural society all of you have, it is so misinformed and it is so dangerous. There's so many mixed communities in the world already that are already operating already. It's literally being in between, which is what they are. You cannot pick a side by not picking a side. Mixed is not a side, it's just mixed.
Absolutely not mean that we hate our black side. It just simply means that we respect and accept both races. We are not self-haters. We simply identify with both races. If you have one black parent and one parent of another race, you are not just black. You are both races. It has nothing to do with feeling superior. It is common sense. It's science.
Mixed and part this and part that. How is that picking a side? They also say, oh, we are all seeing the same. That is a farce. And it's a farce that has led all of you to work very hard to erase the pain and struggle that darker people have faced within the system we're in. A lot of you act like colorism isn't real just because you want to be able to say this crap. You act like colorism, something that is such a dangerous force that is draining our community of so much. You guys deny it. We are not all seen the same. White people practice colorism. They practice colorism amongst each other with hair. They see people differently based on how tanned they are. But you're on the internet trying to convince black people that, oh, you're seeing the same as these groups of people. You do not care how damaging that is to black people because you don't give a fuck about black people. You do not give one a single F about how that will impact them in the end. Because your end goal is a multicultural community and you genuinely believe that mixed means something that it does not. Our communities, our children are being bleached by their mothers who are traumatized by colorism. And a lot of people are willing to sit here and say we're seeing the same. Then bitch, why is there so much colorism? Y'all were all saying every Mexican is black, every Dominican is black, everyone is black yesterday. Think how you view the world, that should take center stage. Oh, hell no. And people also like to say, well, they aren't white, yes, and they also aren't black. They are mixed. They also say they need acceptance and a way to love their features. Oh, and I hate y'all for that. None of you care as much about fully black children loving their features as much as you do about mixed children loving theirs. The reason why all of you say that mixed children will love their features within the black community is because you know that their features will be pedestalized. That their features will be the main ones we love because we were never taught to love our own. And instead of that being your focus, you care. Jesus, they need to figure out a way to love their features. If I in a colorist community cannot, if I in a texturist community cannot love my coils, why the hell do you want me to randomly go around why do you want me to randomly go around claiming mixed people so that they can love theirs? They need acceptance. Black people cannot even accept themselves yet, and you are giving them passion projects. Help mixed people accept themselves. What about accepting ourselves? We can't even accept how we are. We are people who don't want to accept what we are. We can't even accept our hair the way it grows out of our heads. It's so rare to find any of us saying positive things about our features on this very internet streets. But you are giving black people passion projects. Here, accept these people. We have not accepted ourselves. Mixed girls are the acceptable versions of a black girl. Then that means being a black girl is not acceptable. But that should not be our focus. I should give a damn about helping somebody else feel accepted. What about my acceptance?
Your privilege, your white blood that runs through you plays a part in the way you were seen in society versus me. Fair enough, you might not get the same treatment as a white person, but you definitely do not get treated the same way I do as a fully black woman. Your white privilege does play a part. Whether that is in your surname, when you're able to apply for jobs and they let you straight in because your name's Green and my name's Manyasi, they'll just put mine in the bin. Your white privilege plays a part.
They also say you are the seed of your father. This is not true. I guess this is influenced by religion. If somebody has a white father, then they are white. But nobody says that. So why are there people on the internet who are saying this? Why do all of these people who post the one drop will have different reasons for doing it? And none of them make sense.
By your logic of saying that the father determines the race, that would mean that all black men around the world could marry white women and other non-black women and claim to be doing it in order to preserve the black race. But in reality, they would really be producing light-skinned mixed people instead of dark-skinned black people. And that would also mean that biracial people as well, by your logic, because you consider them as black, that means they could also marry white people, their white side, and claim to be doing it to preserve the black race as well. And then the children of a biracial person and a white person, which would be a quadroon, they could also marry a white person and claim to be doing it to preserve the black race. And then the children of them, an octoroon, could do that as well and claim to do it to preserve the black race. So basically, you'd have pure looking white people you'd have to consider as black, because by the logic of the father being black, it doesn't make any sense. So the fact is, mixed race people are not black and never will be. Only 2 black people can produce a black African child, the same way that only 2 white people can produce a white child, 2 Indian people can produce an Indian child, 2 Mexican people can produce a Mexican child, etc. So it doesn't make sense. Like even with Barack Obama, he's the president of America. He's not the first black president. In most European countries, we use the term half caste, which sounds a bit derogatory, but that's what most people use over here.
Somebody also said that you are what your mother is, and this ties into the Eve gene, because a lot of black people believe that black women have a special Eve gene that makes them give birth to every race there is, which is so flippant stupid. Then by that logic, all of the children of white mothers aren't black. Then how can a white woman have a black child? How can a white woman have a black child and you have some Eve gene? Why are you lying?
It's really important that we stop conflating being biracial with being black. You can come from black ancestry, and there can be certain overlaps that happen as a biracial person who's mixed with black and a fully black person, but they're not the same thing. Like I said, there can be overlaps, but they're not the same thing. And the reason that this is violent is because right now in media representation, we are living in a time where black, particularly women, are being completely erased from media and having biracial people as the main representation of blackness. Like, we can all admit that we've seen many movies that were originally about black people that have now had biracial people as the star roles. We have seen many opportunities be given to biracial people. I think right now we are living in a time where there's so much explosive media about biracial experiences. Like, even from young, I have never not known about biracial experiences. That's always captured in movies and media as like being too black for the black kids and too white for the white. And also with the rates that people are intermarrying and having children who are of so many different mixed identities, I think it's really important to if we don't create language now, it's only going to keep getting more and more dramatic. The erasure is going to keep getting more and more extreme.
Then how can... What? Why would you accept then a child from a white woman as black if you are the one with the Eve gene? Asian woman's child as black if you're the only one with the Eve gene? By your logic, they can also create these different races. If you apply the one-drop rule everywhere, by that logic, that is not true. Oh, it's because we can give birth to children with albinism. Albinism exists in every race. And again, all of you act like black people spouting crazy pseudoscience is okay, so long as it supports this rule. Even though you know this is crazy pseudoscience. No, black women cannot give birth to children of every race. You and your white husband's child looking white has nothing to do with the Eve gene, and everything to do with your husband being white. You and your white wife's child looking mixed has everything to do with your genes mixing together, not just you. The Asian woman's child who looks part Asian because they have an Asian mother. You don't just erase people's genetics. And there are also like a ton of mixed people who think this way as well. A lot who believe, they are what their mother is or who their father is. Again, a lot of mixed people are being raised in different, situations, different places, different spaces, in what you might call this. But it still doesn't change anything. A lot of black people need to stop being insecure and stop wanting to live vicariously through mixed people so aggressively. And I say aggressively, you aggressively want to. Literally fighting with multiple communities over this. Stop it. Stop acting like it is okay for people to think like this, to be this stupid, because this is stupidity. There is no sense in this. None. It lends to black erasure, and you want black people to tolerate it. Why? For what? Grow up. Anyway, subscribe or some shit. And if you're offended, sure, but subscribe still. Come on. And like the video. Do not block me. Do not listen. Hey,